the rank of the matrix. Okay, find the rank of the matrix. Now you know that how to find the rank of a matrix. The given matrix we are converting into a row echelon form, and the number of non-zero row in that row echelon form, that is our rank of the matrix, right? It's quite simple. We have to convert this matrix into a row echelon form using the row operations, right? You can multiply any row with any number and add into any other row, right? So we converting this matrix into a row echelon form, and in the row echelon form matrix, the number of non-zero row, that is our rank of the matrix, right? So here A is 1 2 3 2 3 4 3 4 5, right? So here A is equal to 1 2 3 2 3 4 3 4 5. We multiply first row with -2 and add into the second row, and we multiply first row with -3 and add into the third row. That is our first process. There are two processes we are going together. We multiply first row with -2 and add into the second row, and we multiply first row with -3 and add into the third row. So now you can see that first row is as it is 1 2 3. Second row, whenever we multiply first row with -2, second row become 0 -1 -2, okay, because 2 minus 2 is 0, 3 minus 4, right? 3 minus 4 in the second element, 3 minus 4, that is -1, and the third element become a 4 minus 6, that is -2. Now again we multiply first row with -3 and add into the third row, so that third row become 0, that means 3 minus 3 is 0, 4 minus 6, that is -2, and 5 minus, right, 5 minus 9, that is -4. So third row become 0 -2 -4. So the next matrix is 1 2 3, 0 -1 -2, 0 -2 -4. Now what is our next process? It's quite clear that we have to multiply second row with -2 and add into the third row. So the become that -2 becomes 0, right? So we are trying to convert this matrix into a row echelon form, and now you know that what is the conditions to a row echelon form, that leading entry, below that leading entry all elements are 0. So first leading entry here is 1. We make below that leading entry all the elements are 0, 2 0 here. Now what is our leading entry in the second row? -1. Now we are trying to make below that leading entry we make 0, right? We want 0 there, right, below that leading entry. So we are so that's why we are multiplying second row with -2 and add into the third row. So next process, multiply second row with -2 and add into the third row. So definitely first and second row are as it is, 1 2 3 0 -1 -2, and third row becomes 0 0 0, because you can see second row and third row are actually linearly dependent. 0 -1 -2, whenever we multiply second row with -2, that is exactly the third row. So whenever we multiply second row with -2 and add into the third row becomes 0. Now you can see this matrix is in row echelon form. Below all that leading entry, all the leading entry are 0. Leading entry are going from left to right whenever we are going from above to below, and the 0 row, there are 1 0 row, that is already a bottom of the matrix. So it satisfied all the conditions of row echelon form, right? And how many non-zero row in that row echelon form matrix? We have only 2 non-zero rows, right? We have only 2 non-zero rows in that row echelon form matrix. So rank is equal to number of non-zero rows in row echelon form, that is equal to 2. Okay, so we find the rank of the matrix, that is equal to 2. Now find the standard matrix. Next question number 1F, right? We are completing question number 1, A, B, C, D, E. 5 questions. Question number 1. In question number 1 there are 7 questions. We already complete 5 questions, and this is 6 questions. Question number 1F, that is also asked in 2 marks, that I already told you. Find the standard matrix for the reflection operator about xy plane in R3, right? Find the standard matrix for the reflection operator about xy plane in R3. Now the reflection of a vector x is equal to xyz about the xy plane in R3 is w is equal to x y minus z. Because we are taking reflection operator about xy plane, so x and y coordinate are same. X and y coordinate are same, but only a z coordinate difference, that z become minus z. Okay, so whenever we are going from the reflection of a vector x is equal to xyz about the xy plane in R3 is w is equal to x y minus z, which is given by the equations. Now what is given by the equations means, in the first coordinate w have a first coordinate x, and now we want to write down that x in the linear combination of x y z, so that can be written as w1 is equal to x can be written as 1 into x plus 0 into y plus 0 into z, right? Now w2 means second coordinate of w, that is y. Now we want to write down y as a linear combination of x y z, so y can be written as a linear combination of x y z, that is equal to 0 into x plus 1 into y plus 0 into z. Okay, now third coordinate of w, that is equal to minus z, that can be written in the linear combination of x y z equal to 0 into x plus 0 into y plus 1 into z. Okay, minus 1 into z, right? So w1 is equal to x can be written as linear combination of x y z, that is equal to 1 into x plus 0 into y plus 0 into z. That is our first column. Okay, 1 0 0, right? w2 is equal to y, that can be written as linear combination of x y z, that is equal to x 0 into x plus 1 into y plus 0 into z. That is our second column. And w3 is equal to minus z, that is equal to 0 into x plus 0 into y minus 1 into z. That is our third column, 0 0 minus 1. Okay, so 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 minus 1. Here the required reflection operator matrix, required reflection operator or required reflection matrix, right? Here actually the find the standard matrix for the reflection operator about xy plane. So here is our matrix. The first row is 1 0 0, the second row is 0 1 0, and the third row is 0 0 minus 1. Okay, so this question number 1F is also complete now. So question number 1G, find u dot v, given that norm u plus v is equal to 1 and norm u minus v is equal to 5 in an inner product space, right? So we want to find dot product of this two vector u dot v, given that norm u plus v is 1 and norm u minus v is equal to 5 in an inner product space. Now we know that there is one theorem that already with proof in the book, but here just I recall the statement of that theorem. This is not theorem, but this is one simple result, that u dot v, that is equal to inner product uv. If you are taking Euclidean inner product, that is exactly the u dot v. So u dot v, that is equal to inner product uv, that is equal to norm u plus v square minus norm u minus v square divided by 4, whole divided by 4. That is one simple result, but that statement you have to remember whenever asked this question. Make sure that this result you should in your mind, right? This result have in your mind, otherwise you cannot solve this problem, right? Otherwise it's quite simple, it's very simple, but the main thing is that you have to remember this statement of this result, that u dot v is equal to inner product uv, that is equal to norm u plus v whole square minus norm u minus v whole square divided by 4. Now you have to just put down the value of norm u plus v and norm u minus v. We know that norm u plus v is 1 and norm u minus v is 5, so put that values in the result in this statement. So we will get that is equal to 1 by 4 into 1 square minus 5 square. Now 1 square is 1, 5 square is 25. So 1 minus 25, that is minus 24. So minus 24 divided by 4, that is equal to minus 6. So now simply you will get u dot v, that is equal to minus 6. It's quite easy, right? So question number 1 is totally complete. Here 7 questions, and all the 7 questions ask in 2 marks, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So question number 1 is complete now. So we are going from question number 2 in this paper. Here is the question number 2A. 1. There are already 2 parts in question number 2A, right? So that is the first question, and this question asking 4 marks in this paper. Show that the set of all pairs of real numbers of the form 1x. Set of all pairs means this set is actually a subset of R2, right? Set of pairs, that means we have only 2 coordinates. But what type of set we have? You can see. So that the set of pairs of real numbers of the form 1x, that means the first coordinate must be 1 and the second coordinate is any real number. So clearly this set is actually a subset of R2, but what type of subset? The first coordinate is 1 and the second coordinate is x, that means any real number. With the operation, already operation are defined as 1x1 plus 1x2, that is equal to 1x1 plus x2. So 1 is as it is, right? 1 is as it is. We have to just add second coordinates, x1 plus x2. So this is not a standard operation which is defined in R2, right? We know that standard operation defined in R2, that we have xy, x1 y1 plus x2 y2, that is equal to x1 plus x2 y1 plus y2, but that operations is not defined here. You have to use this addition, this operation, right, to prove that the given set is vector space or not. To check that the given set is vector space or not, you have to take these operations, right? So 1 x1 plus 1 x2, that is equal to 1 x1 plus x2. So 1 is as it is. You have to add only the second coordinates, x1 plus x2, and scalar multiplication is already defined, that k into 1x, that is equal to 1 into kx, 1 comma kx, right? So that is a vector space that we have to prove. Answer is already given in the question, that we have to prove that the given set is a vector space, right? Now what is the definition of a vector space? There are 10 conditions. 5 conditions are for addition and 5 conditions are for scalar multiplication. I just recall you that 10 conditions. The first conditions for addition, right, is closeness. That means uv belongs to v, belongs to a set V. U plus v should be belongs to v. Second condition is for commutativity. U plus v is equal to v plus u. Third condition is associativity in addition. That means u plus in bracket v plus w, that is equal to in bracket u plus v plus w. Fourth condition is identity. That means u belongs to v, u belongs to a set V. There exists a 0 vector in that vector space such that u plus 0 vector, call it theta. U plus theta is equal to u, that is equal to theta plus u. Fifth condition in addition is inverse. Inverse of that element should be exist, and that is also in the set. That means for any u belongs to v minus u belongs to v, okay, such that u plus minus u is equal to theta. So these 5 conditions are for addition. Next 5 conditions are for scalar multiplication. First condition is closeness, that for any alpha belongs to R, we are taking alpha is a scalar, so alpha belongs to R and u belongs to v, alpha into u belongs to v. alpha plus beta into u, that is equal to alpha into u plus beta into u, right? Alpha into u plus v, that is equal to alpha into u plus alpha into v, then in bracket alpha beta into u, that is equal to alpha in bracket beta into u, that is equal to beta in bracket alpha into u, and the last condition, that is 1 into u is equal to u. So this is actually the definition of vector space that you should know. Okay, and we are one by one, each of that 10 condition should be satisfied for this example, in this example, using this addition and scalar multiplication that we have to prove here, right? So it's quite easy, but just try to understand carefully. So here is a question that so that the set of pairs of real numbers of the form 1x with the operation defined by as 1x1 plus 1x2, that is equal to 1x1 x2 k 1x, that is equal to 1 kx is a vector space. So let's start one by one each conditions. Let x is equal to 1x, y is equal to 1y, and z is equal to 1z belongs to V. So 1 is equal to x plus y, that is equal to 1x plus 1y, that is equal to 1 x plus y, because addition is already defined in the question, right? 1 x1 plus 1 x2, that is equal to 1 x1 plus x2. So x plus y, that is equal to 1 x plus 1 y, that is equal to 1 x plus y. That is also belongs to V, because first coordinate is 1 and the second coordinate is any real number. X plus y is already a real number because x and y are real numbers. Okay, so first condition is satisfied. Here is the second condition, x plus y, that is equal to 1x plus 1y, that is equal to 1 x plus y, that is equal to 1 y plus x, because we have already a commutativity for real numbers. X plus y can be written as y plus x. Okay, x plus y can be written as y plus x, that you know that 2 plus 3, that is equal to 3 plus 2, that are same, right? So 1 x plus y, that is equal to 1 y plus x, that is equal to 1 y plus 1 x. If you can write down, that is equal to 1 y plus 1 x, and that is equal to y plus x. So second condition is already a second condition is also a satisfied commutativity in addition. So now third condition that we want to satisfy, that for associativity in addition. So in bracket x plus y plus z, that is equal to in